When we talk about business processes, I think we all have an agreement that it's good that most of them are already automated from the starting to the end. I mean, you gain all the benefits with the automation, and most often also these processes are covered within applications, for example, within SAP S/4HANA. But if we are true to ourselves, we can see that probably 80% of all our processes which we have in different organizations are really covered with the standard scenarios, with the standard applications. But what about, let's say, the 20% these non-standard workflows, where you probably would like to do kind of an extension, for example, of a standard process, or where you would like to create something new, something which really provides also to you different to your competitor? What about these workflows, about these activities which you have in your company? And they could be, of course, in different areas. May this be in HR, for example, think of several approvals you would like to include in a leave request, or may this be in the finance area. Think about, for example, if you would like to provide a certain amount of budget for a project, and then different kind of approval levels need to be included. Or think of any kind of interaction you probably also have with your stakeholders, which you would like to include in your process flow, but which is not already covered within standard application. And during this course, we would like to introduce to you, to guide you, how you could really go this last mile of automation with the help of SAP Workflow Management. Coming back to the notion of processes, we say processes run the world, and probably this is true, and this is of course true for most of the organizations we all are working in. But we also see that processes are complex, and complexity itself is not necessarily a bad thing, but you must be able to handle this complexity. Sometimes you also must be able to hide this complexity, because your business users, they want to focus on the results, on the business outcomes, and not about the nitty-gritty technical details. On the other hand, what we see, and also what we are suffering from, is that processes are still too manual, or sometimes part of a process, a workflow probably, are still manual. And of course, this all then leads to inefficiencies, can lead to errors, and then of course at the end to higher costs. And we need to avoid this. But before we come to the introduction of the product itself, let us clarify in a first step what a workflow actually is. And here's a nice sentence which I would like to take here. A workflow is an executable visual diagram of a structured, predefined set of activities that produce a desired result. Well, so far so good. But if we take a closer look at this little sentence, we can also see that probably a workflow can be very basic, very simple, but it could also be enriched with different activities, with different stakeholders, and then probably also become much more complex. Good thing we are able to handle this complexity. We will also show you how you can do this. But again, let us take a look at a workflow. And a workflow, of course, consists of certain activities, of certain process steps, and these activities can be executed, for example, by a business user or by a user itself. These activities could also be executed, of course, by a system. So again, thinking about this notion of extension of a standard business process, where you then probably then also would do a callback to the business application. But of course, processes or process steps could also be, for example, executed by a bot, by a chatbot, or by a digital bot coming from a robotic process automation system. In the flow of such a workflow, of course, we have several gateways where decisions are made. You can also see this here on the screen. So in this really simple orders return workflow, so the first decision is really to be made. Do we have here low value returns? Then the process or the workflow itself will be executed just in a few seconds. Or will we have high value returns, where then, of course, further approval steps are necessary. So this means also we need a kind of an input to really also make these decisions. And of course, then the output, the result of the decisions will then also be used in the upcoming steps, or probably then we have a final result once the workflow itself has been ended. Within a workflow, there are different artifacts which can be used. By the way, we are talking here about BPMN, Business Process Model and Notation, artifacts which we are using here also during the course of the week and also within our product. When we are talking about workflows, we can also see that there are different kind of workflows, and let me just focus on 3 of them. So first and foremost, you will see embedded workflow. So this means within a business application, there is a workflow running who is including different users, probably also calling different systems, and is ensuring that a certain set of activities will be executed in the right way. Sometimes you even don't know that there's actually a workflow engine behind it, but it's because it's so deeply integrated in the actual business application. On the other hand, and this is one of the main topics also during this course here, extensions. Extension of standard business processes, we see them each and everywhere and also the need for them. And of course, you can easily manage this and do this with the help of SAP Workflow Management. So just imagine you would like to add several approval steps, or you would like to include different stakeholders, get in a kind of collaboration also. And then the last type, cross-LOB orchestration workflows, as we have named it here. Imagine you have different systems, you have different LOBs, but they need to work together because the process, the overarching process, is running across these different units, across these different systems. And then, of course, you also need to be capable to build this up within your system, within your workflow management system. And this is also what we are taking care for with the help of SAP Workflow Management. So embedded, extensions, or cross-LOB orchestrations, everything is covered. Now let me show you SAP Workflow Management at a glance. So in essence, it's an offering which helps you to digitize workflows, to automate and extend, as I have already mentioned, business processes. You can manage decision logic, gain end-to-end process visibility with embedded intelligence. So what does this mean? On the one hand side, of course, we have the traditional, the basic workflow capabilities, but we have also enriched this with a, business process expert, citizen developer, no-code flavor. So where actually you can configure different variants based on a certain process template. You will, by the way, also learn how this is been done during the course of this week. As I said before, within a workflow, we have decisions, we have gateways, and of course, these can be taken care of by business rules. Once you are executing the workflows, you also would like to ensure that the performance is okay. So that probably some KPIs you have defined before are also met, and therefore we are using process visibility. The consumption of all the tasks which are created, so for the user at the end, this can be done, for example, via my inbox or also other task providers. Workflow intelligence. So think about situations where you probably do not each and every time, for example, certain approvals. So where you would need some kind of guidance. And we are providing here you the guidance by the system. So a learning system, which could give you, for example, some kind of recommendations or also will help you to do some kind of mass approvals at the end of the day. Good news also for the ones of you who are also familiar with other process automation technologies, like for example, SAP Intelligent RPA, we have here a really tight integration. And of course, if you would like to use, for example, a digital assistant, you can easily make use of conversational AI, which is also integrated to SAP Workflow Management. Let us now go a little bit deeper into the key capabilities. So I've already told you we have here workflow, of course, in the center. And as you can see, we have a workflow editor, low-code environment, focusing also on the, application workflows. Probably this could be extensions, this could be cross-LOB workflows, as I have named it before. Business rule, also again, low-code environment. So you can see also there's not so much, developer experience needed, we are really also providing here an easy entry, especially when we are taking a look at our process variant editor. So this is the area where you can easily configure your own process variants really within a no-code environment. And then finally, I've already mentioned process visibility, where you can get insights into your instances, but also have a kind of an overall view, measure certain KPIs within a dedicated dashboard. And all this comes together with pre-built content packages. So we are not only providing the tooling to do workflows the right way, but also we are providing you some templates which you can use, and really you don't need to start from scratch each and every time for certain patterns, for certain use cases you have within your organization. Coming now back again to discuss LOB workflows, because probably you would like to get there more information, or probably you are also a little bit skeptical what this means. So think about, you have different applications within your landscape, which I think is the case for most in the areas where we are handling with our customers. So a typical workflow could, for example, then start with any kind of data entry in probably simple form. Then, of course, probably some data needs to be collected from the underlying applications. And there we are also then getting in touch with the applications and get this information out of them. Probably there are decisions in this workflow, and therefore we are using the rules capability. As a next step, probably a business user needs to be included. They will get some notifications. They need to do some approvals, probably also get in touch with other stakeholders. So really having kind of an interaction here. And as I said before, sometimes it might also be necessary that you're automating a task, for example, with the help of a digital bot. And then finally, once you're done, really distribute all the data in the different applications which are connected to your overarching workflow here, your cross LOB workflow. One important thing here also to be mentioned. So when we talk about the user engagement, of course, this is all covered within a launchpad so that you get one single access point. And as I said before, probably you could now start from scratch with each and every workflow, but I think it's much more easier for you that you are using some kind of pre-built content in different areas. For example, in areas where you are talking about the larger process of order to cash or procure to pay, hire to retire, you name it. And also, of course, catering different industries. Now let's take a look what these content packages all include and what you can do. So these workflow content packages, or live process content packages as we call them, so you will find them in the API Business Hub for different LOBs, for different industries. This is the place where you can discover them. Within Workflow Management itself, within the so-called flexibility cockpit, you are then able to import this content. And now comes the most important thing. Then you are also able to flexibly configure this content based on your business needs. Probably you would also need to be able to create different kind of process variants of one single process. And also this is possible here within SAP Workflow Management. As a last step, you would activate this and then, of course, let the workflow run, let the user consume the workflow and also work with it. So very nice environment, really straightforward, and we will show you during the course of these 3 weeks how you could use this with all the other capabilities I have mentioned before. To give you kind of an overview what kind of use cases there are, and by the way, at the time you are seeing this, there are much more already there, because we are really working hard to provide much more use cases, much more predefined live process content packages to you, because we have seen how important it is for you and also how valuable it is for you and how beneficial that you don't need to start from scratch each and every time. So there are different areas, for example, in procurement area where you will find use cases. Of course, different kind of approvals are included there. Some use cases where we are providing visibility in different areas. Or, of course, when it comes, for example, in certain in certain areas, in certain industries like utilities. Even there, we are providing content packages which you could leverage. So please be invited to take a look at them and find the one which is suitable for your dedicated use case. So why should you actually consider SAP Workflow Management? And these are more or less 6 points, which I would like to take here out of this first unit in our Open SAP course. On the one hand side, it's a service offering to digitize workflows, to automate, extend business processes, to manage your decisions, and to gain end-to-end process visibility. So really a rich set of capabilities which is coming under one umbrella. As you have seen, we have a rich set of predefined live process content packages, which you can need really as an accelerator in your projects. Of course, the integration to SAP is given also to non-SAP applications. We are providing you the right mechanisms, the right technology that you can integrate them with them quite easily and straightforward. But of course, we know not all our customers are already in the cloud. They have also systems running on-premise, and also there we are providing here the right solution so that you also have support here for hybrid workflow implementations and really connect the systems which are needed in the actual flow of your different activities. As I said before, we are also integrating so that you with intelligent robotic process automation or conversational AI, so you are able really to leverage these digital bots or the digital assistants at the end of the day. And then finally, not to forget to mention here, think about all the sentiment analytics you will get, for example, with Qualtrics. Also, this information is very useful within the flow of your work, within your workflow. And also this we can include and really provide here a really elaborate set of capabilities and content within one environment. So the key benefits, of course, your employees can really focus on the more valuable tasks with the help of process automation, really get faster to a result, to a really beneficial value here. On the other hand, and this is also very important when we are talking about workflows itself, we are ensuring here compliance because all the steps are recorded, you get information, and you can really follow, track who has done what at which point in time. And then one important thing, the last thing here on this list, with workflow management, you are really enabled to flexibly adapt the business processes really to your needs, that you can really take care of your business and what they are requiring. So the key learnings for this first unit was really the importance of business processes. You have seen with workflow management, you can really go the last mile of process automation. I have introduced you to different kind of types of workflows. You have seen some capabilities of workflow management where we will go into more details, of course, in the next units, where you can also experience them on your own, in your own system. And of course, you have seen now a few of the use cases, but there are much more, and I'm sure there are also much more in your organization. So feel free to leverage SAP Workflow Management for this. In the next unit, actually, I will go into the details of the tool. I will show you a concrete example, the capital expenditure approval process. I will show you how this has been implemented and also how the end user experience will look like. So with that, here are some links for further readings. Please feel free to visit our pages here. We have videos out there. We have tutorials out there. Of course, several blogs in the SAP community. By the way, also be invited to join our community here underneath Workflow Management. Exchange your ideas, get information from our experts, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, as I said before, explore our live process content packages. So with that, thanks a lot for joining me in this first unit. I'm looking forward to these 3 weeks with you and hope to see you in the next unit. Bye.